What I discovered in my own work with leaders and organizations is that introducing meditation is very useful, but the crucial step for transformation is to really bring the meditation practice, which you might do alone or in a small group, into the action of everyday work. And then to bring it into the depths of co-creative processes and all the different aspects of functioning. Right. What if you discovered for yourself, having done these practices of meditation, how they have impacted both your own process, your own efficacy, and also your work with groups and people?
In terms of my own efficacy, it's meant everything to me. It's enhanced my capacity to be creative. It's lowered my stress levels, blood pressure level. It's also enabled me to be, I guess you'd say, relatively or sometimes extremely calm in the most stressful circumstances you can imagine, and almost experience either anger or deep disappointment on the part of people or multiple people, and it just passes through you like energy through a wall, and it just doesn't affect you. So that's one element of it. Now, I think it's the single most effective personal practice you can undertake, and I think it's one to begin with. But then I think it's really important to match it up and connect it with other practices. But just to answer your question more specifically, I now have learned, and over the last decade or so, to introduce this to executive teams or innovation teams that we're working with, and it makes all the difference in the world. So, I smile a little bit because we begin every meeting that we have in client systems where I'm working with the 12 or 15 people I'm working with, sometimes 40, sometimes 100. And we're all sitting there at the beginning of the day meditating for 30 minutes.
How does it impact people that are doing this freshly? So, I have practiced for many decades, and right. So we are, in a way, a bad example of how one is first impacted, What did you experience with people that are doing this just a few times even?
Right. Well, first, I think it's important to say that many of the business leaders that we introduced this to were highly resistant to it, to say the least, because they said, my people are going to think I'm weird, and I don't want to be rejected this way. They were very fearful. But we found the secret to it is to have the CEO embrace this. So we began working with the CEO for months before we introduced this. And he's the one that has become comfortable with it and recommends it highly. The immediate effect, I would say that in the first few days of this practice, if I was going to just make a generalization of it, I would say there's not a whole lot of immediate effect. It's the cumulative effect that we stress for people. And I say within weeks of doing this, there's a noticeable effect in the group. of more interconnection, so more entrainment among the group, less fear, less confrontation, more of a capacity to begin to act as that single intelligence that we talked about earlier. And with continuous practice, it just gets deeper and deeper and deeper. And I'm just smiling because just the other day we were finishing a nature retreat, an 8-day nature retreat, and we had an executive team of 15 or so people, senior leaders of a manufacturing firm, and they had been doing this for 9 months or a year. And then we took them out on a nature retreat and came back and were working on the strategy for this transformation for the next year. And the beauty of what occurred there, and they all reflected on it, that something brand new showed up in this circle that was completely out of the ordinary, not considered, not on the radar screen. And this is and these people, in creating this new path, were completing each other's sentences, literally, and they spoke about that. So this is Bohmian dialogue at its finest, and we begin this whole process by teaching them all the elements of Bohmian dialogue, and then have them start doing their practices based upon his knowing that this is the way to make it successful. So these people not only are doing their meditation, they're doing Qigong every morning, and doing retreats out in nature.
On our website globalleadership.tv, you will find additional footage, other dialogues with innovation leaders from around the world, and also the hands-on practices that help them and their organizations to move from inspiration to real change.